Hi everyone. Well, slight problem as normal. Every now and again, they get a financial problem. It's not caused by me; it's caused by outside. Basically, you get investigated because they don't understand what writers do, what publishers do nowadays. A lot of publishers you can use third-party sites, and the writer you get royalties and things like this. So a lot of the time, you have money coming in without outgoings. You say writers, authors. We aren't plumbers. We're not electricians. We don't have to go down to the building site to get some bricks or some pipes. So a lot of the places like where I live do not understand that, which means that every now and again, what happens is that they freeze everything. So they're unofficially frozen. That means that there's a car I haven't got through, and there's money that I haven't received for 2 months wise from my company. And let's put this into perspective. That would shut down most companies. Most companies would shut down if they did not receive money for 2 months. A lot of companies would shut down after 1 month. So basically what you got is people literally risking shutting down my company just because it looks a bit different. Now, partly, let's be honest, this is to do with occultism. They wouldn't do that if this was a company that was doing, that was a vegetable wholesalers. They wouldn't do that to a fruit and veg man. They wouldn't. They wouldn't do it to an educational company. They wouldn't do it to an accountant, but they do it to what I do, to me, to my company. And to me, so I'm in the position to survive on fresh air. I do have access to some money I can get, and I can loan money from people I need to. Not that I need to. But, and that's what I'm dealing with. And I shouldn't have to deal with that. It's a financial conspiracy in this country that people can simply take your money and pound it from you. Because don't think this is just me. This means they can take your money off you anytime they bloody want. They can take it off you at any point in time. They can remove it from you so you don't have it. They can just gone. That's it. It doesn't take anything, It doesn't take anything at all. They can do anything they want to do it, to remove the money from you if they want to. There's not a damn thing they can do about it, that you can do about it. And that is the problem with this country. It's a financial conspiracy because so much is tied up. Even your house you own, you think, I own this house. This is my house. You know what? The deeds aren't there anymore. What's that say there? Remember until live trip, remember to gain pharmacy in the Bible community standards. Okay. Francisco, why haven't people here? Because it's just started. It happens like that with me. And I find that, I'm not enabled for advertising. The advertising on Google doesn't go through me. I don't know whether it's because I haven't enabled it or whether I haven't done it right or because my stuff's a bit edgy. But I'm not enabled for advertising, so I don't get the promotion of the stuff. So I'll do the videos and you can chat. But what I do, is it goes on, I'll save it and it'll go on and I'll put it on the different sites. And it doesn't register. They don't like it registered on other sites. So it won't, the views it gets on other sites won't register, And also I'm available for download. People download my stuff and put them onto the podcasts, you see. So I don't mind that, but it means it reduces the amount of views you get on your site. So if people ever wonder why doesn't he get that many views on his YouTube channel, it's because it enabled downloading. It means people I don't mind if you download my stuff and put it on your podcast because I'm after publicity for it and publicity for me. I'm not after building a big channel because they don't let me get advertising. So I don't mind if you put it places. So people put things on and they criticize it or whatever they want to do. And they take the sound stuff and they talk about it and put it on podcasts. And most of the time, I don't know what podcasts they're putting it on. I've got no idea, but I do find them now and again. I've been told, what's that there? Message retracted. Okay, fair enough. You can ask anything you want. It's fine, you can put any message on you want. I don't mind if you criticize me. It's okay, But that's the way it works. People do that, And that's how it is. You can download the stuff from here that I post on my YouTube channel. It's fine to put it other places. I do not mind. Okay. You don't have to just say nice things. You can say bad things. You can do whatever the hell you want. As long as you don't assassinate me, that's the thing. That's the key point. Do not want to be assassinated. You can do anything else. You can sort of criticize me if you want. I don't mind. It's okay. But that's it, But yeah, but saying what the problem is that you get is every now and again I get sort of financial attack, because that's what it is. It's a financial attack. Because when you freeze somebody's stuff, hi, I see if I can make this screen a little bit bigger so I can read what the messages are. Make it bigger. That's it. Hi, Moth. Yeah, great to see you. But like I said, that's the thing, is that it's a financial attack. Not many companies would survive not having money coming in for 2 months. I've got someone, but very, very little. It's the main hub of the, well, not very little, but the main hub of the profit is being withheld. Not enough to keep most companies running. Most companies couldn't run without 2 months worth of money. Because you're talking small companies that couldn't survive, most of them. 2 months to be gone. It doesn't take long to kill off most companies. So they're essentially in the position where they are risking destroying my company for no bloody good reason. Simply because I'm not a fruit and veg man, or I'm not a sort of wholesaler, or a plumber, or an accountant, or something that can understand, Because when you're writing instead of companies, that money flows in and it doesn't really flow out. It just flows in. And that is something they do not understand at all. Great, apart from the fact that they are freezing my money. It's not an official freezing, it's an unofficial freezing. They do this, where what they do is, wink, wink. What they do is they're just like, your cards don't go through. They stop your cards going through. You can't stop working. Oh, it must be a mistake. I'll have to send you a new card. Well, simultaneously, payments aren't going into another account. That's how they do it, I've got money. I've got things elsewhere. But if anyone wants a reading, this is the time to do it, because the reading money goes into PayPal and they haven't pounded anything. And that money goes in, which will enable me to go to the pub. Yeah, because I've got tokens for supermarkets. I've still got some tokens, because I know how it works in the States, because probably most of you probably from the States. But when you go into the UK, you get tokens if you buy food, and you get these like token things, and you save your points up. Yeah. When I've been drinking, I go into the supermarket and I buy stuff, and obviously I also go into the cafe. I've got a cafe in the supermarket now. I drink cola and stuff like that, and buy myself a cake or something. And they get points. Not all the time you get points. And so I've got enough tokens to buy food. Well, I think of chastity to practice magic. I don't really think you should let it affect your life that much. I just don't think you want to get in the position whereby you want not having sex because of a spell. I don't think that's the way to go. Live a good life, live a normal life to the full, and do occultism. Don't let it take over to that extent. Because all of the good occultists, all your best ones, live life to the max. Sometimes a little bit too much to the max. Okay, they're burnt out a bit. Some of them were drug fiends and things like this, but they did live life to the max. I'm not saying you should do that. You should look after yourself, do the best you can, but try to live a happy life and do magic. That's the way to do it. Live a happy life and do that, Do the stuff you need to do. Exercise. You should do exercise. I know it doesn't look like it, but I do exercise. I'd exercise 5 or 6 days a week. I do various different things. At the moment, I'm just doing Tai Chi and yoga because I'm learning the Yang 40 form. The Yang 40, it's like it's got all of the moves from the long form, but it's shorter. Happy Pride Month, Rob. Yeah, happy Pride to everybody. Because Pride's for everybody, isn't it? Because they keep adding more letters on. Because it was, what was it again? LB, lesbian, gay, LGBT, bisexual, transgender. Then they put on queer, and they've got intersex on somewhere now. They've got intersex, and they've also got, queer. But they've also got added ones on the plus. Some of them put different letters on. They've also got asexual and intersex have added on as well on some of them. I don't know what order that's in. I don't know, but they're on as well. We're adding everybody on. Which is good, I know if you put everybody on, it might seem a bit pointless, but it's really not. I don't think it is, And it's good that all the companies are representing it and things like this. The only reason I don't do it is because I'm an individual, and I do it. It gives out a message, a very strong message. That will be a personal message, not a general corporate one, or I'd have it on the website or something, on my company website, with it being like a one-person organisation. I run it, and I don't have a lot of people. But I support all that things. I'm all for people being who they are and being open and things like this about who they are, and I'm all for that, you know. Not just in the countries where it's easy, like the West, but in the countries where it's not easy, like the Middle East. I think people should have the rights, and the government should try and protest them on people to make sure they have the rights, and try to make sure that people don't get executed and things for being gay and things like this. Because I don't just want people not to be executed for being occultists. I want people to stop being executed for being gay, for being, you know, for just general life stuff, you know. People shouldn't be executed for that. I think that's really something that people shouldn't do, you know, shouldn't happen to people. Personal view. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Moth. But like I said, I just think it's, you know, it's just one of them things. It's a bit shitty, the one that impound and stop your finances, because the thing is, a lot of people's companies nowadays work on the internet and don't work in cash. I don't really receive cash. It's all bank and things like this. So, of course, I'm very easy to impound and to shut down. That's the problem. That is the sweet problem with the whole thing. You know, I mean, I can see a point, honestly speaking, whereby if times were different and maybe things were a bit easier in some respects, because they're not at the moment. You know, there's a lot of things in my life I have to deal with, not so much me, but other people's things I have to deal with. Otherwise, I think where relocation may be the way ahead, because it just seems that, you know, this country is getting, the UK is getting that bad. They're just impounding things and just freezing things. It's gone too far. Quite frankly, when they're doing this whenever the hell they want, it's too far because we all rely upon this, you know. I mean, I once had a bank, which I won't mention the name because they'd probably sue, although it is true, that put a deposit down as a withdrawal. Now, that is just incompetence. I don't know if the banks, it's not, they don't have a branch where I am anymore, but still putting down a deposit as a withdrawal. Imagine that. Imagine how terrible that would be if you won the lottery. And instead of getting $12 million or £12 million, it's got minus $12 million or £12 million. Imagine how easy it must be to take your money off you like that, you know? I think we should probably, all of us should probably get gold and put it away and things like this. We should probably all do that, you know, gold or silver. But the thing is, it's difficult to sell gold. It's easy to sell, but it's in large amounts. Where silver's in small amounts, but you tend to pay quite a large amount over the price of the gold, of the silver, the metal. See, in many ways, I reckon you're better off buying large amounts of coins than trying to buy bars, because coins have a use as jewelry as well and things like this, you know. So, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I don't think you're going to get a return. You might even make a loss. It's just, I think, just so you got something you can get rid of if you need to bring in money, you know, if they freeze everything, you know, because cash is good. They're good to have some cash, but to the same extent, though, cash just sort of, well, depreciates, doesn't it, you know? Because you never know what is going to happen. You never know. The world is just very strange right now, you know. I mean, everywhere's got wars happening, you know. I mean, there's wars everywhere. I suppose there always is, but it's bad now at the moment. It ain't bad because with Russia, you got Russia and the Ukraine at war, and you've got other sides, people on both sides. You've got China on Russia's side, and you've got different countries on the other side. And that's a war in Europe, and I don't like wars in Europe because the UK, where I live, is in Europe. So we don't really need that. It's not a good idea. It's not a good thing. We need rid of that and try to get some peace. You know, is what we need. We don't need that at all. It's a bad thing. And it drags other countries in, like America and things like this, are backing the Ukraine, like the UK is backing the Ukraine. And I don't think it's a matter of right or wrong. Both sides are going to think that they're right. You know, God knows why, but they both will. And I don't want to get into the politics of right and wrong. I think we need to try and bring it to an end, though, if we possibly can. But I think it'll be a violent end, unfortunately, you know, rather than a peaceful one. But, yeah. But that's the thing. I'm saying again, I don't think if I moved, it would make any difference if I moved, because It happens everywhere. I think, what you basically got is this global banking system, and they do what the hell they want, and it plugs into government, or government plugs into it, whichever way around you look at it. And basically they can do what they want, So they want your money, it's gone. That's it. It's just disappeared, Because the truth of the matter is, you say they got your money or take your money. The truth of the matter is, it's never there in the first place. If everybody went to the bank tomorrow to take their money out, they wouldn't get it. Okay? You wouldn't get it if you all went to the bank. That's the difference, I think, with shares. Shares are based, I say, more illusionary because they're based on a company. And sometimes a company might not have much going for it except it's cash flow, it's interest, how much money it makes. And that's quite a nebulous thing. It's not as easy as like a brick, gold or something, although banks are not really based on gold anymore. Currencies backed by bonds and things like this. But it's basically an illusionary thing. It's just they can take it off you from a bank anytime they want because, like I said, it's not there. If you're all going to take your money out, it won't get it. It'll be gone. Basically, it won't be there. It will be gone. You'll never get it. But the thing is with shares, it's there. I do actually believe that things like exchange traded funds and shares, if everybody went to buy and sell at the same time, it would tank and they'd get less money back. But they would still get the money back, get some money back, because it fluctuates in price, but you do actually own something. Now, they do reckon some of the funds that are with gold funds and gold-backed securities don't have the gold in them they're supposed to have, the amount of gold in them. I don't know whether that's true or not. But I do think things like shares and companies, I think there's something there that you are actually buying. Although it's not an easy thing to understand, as easy to understand as maybe buying a sandwich. I do believe there's something there where when you buy, put money in the bank, it's not there. It's not really there at all. So, in a way of measuring that, what's the point, Is there a point in measuring something that isn't there? Because some people will never take all the money out of the bank they have. Let's be honest. People pile up and will never take it all out. And I'm probably one of those people. I never really empty my bank accounts. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen very often. And that's something I do at all. And the thing is, that being the case, is there any point in measuring it if it doesn't all come out? If it's not even there in the first place? All you're looking at is access to something, but is potential access to something is all you're really measuring is potential access. Where some things actually exist, they're real, and other things aren't. And most of the things that people put the money into don't really exist, which basically means cash. It's backed by other government debt. You've got debt is what it's backed by. It's not backed by an asset, it's just backed by debt, a loan. So if you loan money, you can say, well, that loan, but it isn't real money, it's loaned money. But in actual fact, the debt itself, that the person you owe money to, they have the same as basically as the cash is. The cash is backed by a debt owed to the person or the company, I should say, the organization that produces the money. But I mean the central banks literally prints the money, and it's backed by them. It's just debt, more debt that it's backed by. That's all it is. It's just backed by debt. Whereas, gold's gold, isn't it? When we were on the gold standard, we actually had something. But it's just backed by debt. It's not backed by. It's backed by the ownership of debt. The credit that is owed to you is what it's backed by. But that's all it is. It's no different. Anything time you owe somebody money, or somebody owes you money, it's the same thing. If you get paid back, it's the same thing as the money, is what it means. It's the same thing it represents. So shares are more solid. People think, shares risky and cash isn't. I think shares are volatile. They go up and down a lot. They can collapse completely. You can lose all your money. But the thing is, that's happened with cash, before. Where it's literally people being a wheelbarrow to buy a loaf of bread, full of money. It's happened with cash before, If you have something like an exchange traded fund, you can have like 500 shares in 500 companies or 100 companies or things like this. The chance of them all going bust at the same time to the extent where the new one doesn't move in, is like it's not going to happen. I don't think. I'm not a financial expert. Don't listen to me for financial advice. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm talking about what I think conspiracies and things like this about finance. And what you've got is that. So you've got that, to me, is less risky than cash. Because I look at that as a less risky thing than cash, because cash, you're backed by nothing, you're just backed by debt. Where a company, with shares, an exchange traded fund, you're backed by maybe 500 companies with cash flow and assets all around the world. You actually own something, with the other way, you're just owning debt. And that seems dodgy. The back rooms. I've heard about basic things. I haven't heard much about that, to be honest. I know a certain amount about it. My feeling is the world is so weird, anything like that is nearly always true. So the idea that you've got, like, if it's about taglines about them, real place to do some the internet thing. So things are nearly always true like that. Basically, if it's weird enough, it's probably true. That is my belief. It's not really. I know it's not really much of an answer, but it's probably true. Because the bottom line is, people say things like, hitmen don't exist. They probably do. They do exist. Hitmen exist, but they say things like that. And they'll say things like, well, there's not really any ninjas. How about the Thai SAS, the Thai Special Forces, rather, call themselves ninjas? That's their name. Okay, so the Thai, they're not Japanese, but the Thai, but they call themselves ninjas and they do all the training they did, except they do Thai boxing, but they call themselves ninjas. Is that not a ninja? It is, isn't it? When you think about it, it's a ninja. I mean, there is places that teach old martial arts. I've heard in a magazine years ago, read in a magazine rather, a martial arts magazine. Not that I'm really heavily into martial arts. I did a little bit of kickboxing, but I wasn't doing anything at the time. But what I used to do is I used to read magazines on different subjects. I'd just buy a magazine on spec. And I bought one about martial arts. And what I had in it was people that were doing a martial art that you can only get into if you'd been a soldier or something like that. You had to have been in battle to get into this martial art. And it wasn't like a military one. It was an old Japanese one. Now, that, to me, that's basically the only two options. It's either a very old samurai or a very old ninja. Now, some people believe they were the same thing. A lot of people believe that when a samurai got caught, he'd become a ninja. That he would see he was a ninja, that they were the same. That a samurai would creep around in the middle of the night and do things. But if he got caught, he'd say he was a ninja, and the GI will caught the ninja, is what they do, instead of seeing the samurai. So it was the same thing. And if that's true, it seems likely, then that means there's people who were military, who are being trained in ninjutsu as well as samurai, who've been trained in that, who are only allowed to do it if they've been in the military. So what sort of people have you got doing that? Probably mercenaries, possibly high-level hitmen, doing who are very interested in that sort of thing. That's the sort of people you have. So if that exists, and it was in an article many years ago, then that leads me to believe there's still ninjas. So if ninjas exist, and that's weird, so does everything else. All the weird stuff seems to be real. Doesn't seem to be anything weird that isn't real. It doesn't need to work like that, Not that type of thing. Things about monsters, you could maybe come up with a monster that isn't real, or I think you'd probably bring it into existence to some extent if you did, if enough people were behind you. But things like weird things about people are nearly always true, because people are weird, It's the humdrum stuff which you got to worry about. That's the stuff which isn't always true, because that's what you do if you want to sell a lie. You sell something humdrum. See, what the liars do is the liars tell you that you need a lot of proof for something big and no proof for something small. They do that so they can lie small. So all you do is you just break your big lies up into pieces, all you do. But the reality is these things they class as big aren't really big. They're not big. They're just normal, everyday stuff that have led you to believe are big. They lead you to believe the humdrum stuff is strange and unusual. Like if you go into the pub and you mention something about spies, you say, "Oh, spies." People say, "Ah, he's crazy. He thinks of spies." What do you mean? We all know spies exist. Everyone knows spies exist. They've existed for hundreds of years, probably thousands of years. They've existed a very, very long time. All countries have them. We all know that. All countries have their own intelligence services and things like this. We all know they exist. But if you mention it, they'll all think you're crazy because they're being indoctrinated not to see it. Indoctrinated not to mention that it exists. So just don't mention it. They just don't see it. But it doesn't mean that it's not true because they don't see it. It's still true. It means, so if you mention something, they got to say, but where's your proof? You need this big proof. And there's always some vital piece of paper they want that you don't have on you, because that's how the world works now. There's always a piece of paper, But how do you get this piece of paper? You can't do it. It doesn't work that way, Even if you get on your phone, you'll find they won't look. That's what I've noticed. If you get people proof of something on your phone and you say, okay, here you go, they won't look at it. Because if they look at it, they have to believe it. To see it is to believe it. To see it is to believe it. And that's the thing. I've even had people who don't believe people exist, that people weren't real because they seem bigger than life. So I said, okay, there you go. There he is. You can talk to him or her. And most of them won't look. They don't want to know, because if they talk to them, they say, this person is real. Yes, they're real, because that is how it works. The world is bigger than you think it is, and it's bigger, more strange and more unusual than weird than it's supposed to be, because that is the normal. The normal is the weird. It isn't really weird at all. It's just normal stuff. That's it. Because that's the thing, everyone's got something strange about them, or most people do. Something which is supposed to be odd and unusual, Maybe it's something in the bedroom. Maybe it's something you like to do. We have an odd hobby or something like this, which isn't supposed to be normal. You know what I mean? The sort of thing which, even if it's a bit nerdy, something which is nerdy, so it's out of the unusual because it's nerdy. But that's everyone. It's basically everyone in the world's like that. So how the hell is that strange? It's not. They want you to believe it's strange. They want you to believe it's strange, so you deny other people's things and part of yourself and the world to make it easier for the liars to do what they want to do. And ultimately, it seems to me what they want to do is to control your money. That's it. That is the problem. Because they basically got you. Because if you have the cash, you've got pieces of paper backed by pieces of paper. It's nothing there. There's just debt. Pieces of paper backed by debt, and the debt itself is for pieces of paper. It's just paper and paper and paper. There's nothing there. If you go for the other route in the bank, it's not even there. The money that you have, the pieces of paper you're going for, aren't even bloody there. They don't even exist. So whichever way you go, money they've got you. I mean, even if you go for an asset, you can say, okay, but what's the asset worth? Ultimately, a lot of assets are certainly worth their cash flow. So it's how many pieces of paper they've got run through them. You can see what I'm saying here. It's no way out. It's crazy. The only thing is the piece of paper then is what value you assign them. It's something of value. It's simply the fact that it's what value is coming through them, what buying power they have. And if the value of the pieces of paper reduced, you'd simply have more pieces of paper to rely upon it, You could replace the paper with shiny pebbles. Anything. And the company would still run as long as it's got a medium of exchange, it'd still run. But companies can be destroyed so easily. They can be taken down by governments with, we just discussed that, I talked about that a little bit with regulations, and also just by doing it first, just by shutting your bank account down, by stopping things coming in and stopping your payments. Like I've said, it's happened with me a number of times whereby they've basically just things get delayed, cards don't come through. It always happens and they happen at the same time. And you're looking, you're thinking, really, is this what's happening? And it's because my company is weird. What I do is classed as weird, partly because it's occultism, but probably mostly because they don't understand internet companies and how things work. Authors don't get paid in cash. We don't get suitcases full of money. It's bank deposits. What is what we get? That's all it is. It's just in the bank. There's nothing comes out. to go in. See, what happens normally in a company is the balance. You got things going out and coming in, and it looks normal to these people because it's coming out and coming in. So you'll say, right, I had this, I need to buy bricks. And that's how it works, you see. This is balanced because this is going in and out. And every deposit has it, because every asset you create has depreciate. So everything's got to balance out there, and that balances out there. And something that you paid for is also an asset which you depreciate and all this sort of thingy. But ultimately, they like to have things like that coming in and out. Things so, I am a plumber, I buy pipes. That makes sense, you see, to them. That's the way they think things have to work. But I'm an author. Money comes in. What are you buying? Nothing. Money just comes in. I'm paying myself a wage. Money comes in. Dividends coming out. Dividends. Money comes in. It doesn't make any sense to them because what it's based on an asset that you've produced, the writing you produce is an asset which is what it's based on. And so it makes no sense. They don't understand it. And so they just freeze it every now and again. They'll freeze something and say, freeze it. But what happens at one of these times if they don't reopen it again, if they just shut it, It's happened before with an online banking account. One of the companies that only does online banking, I won't mention it because I still bank with them, but it's one of the really big ones, and ones that only does online. And they froze about £1,000 of my money many years ago for no reason at all. It just went. And I don't leave money online like that anymore. If they do, they just freeze it, And that's a problem with what they don't mention about is online. Always seem to love online companies. I think they're doing away. But they don't realise the fact is that they're screwed up themselves. They're the ones screwing them up and stopping people from opening them up because they keep screwing things up with people. They just don't leave them alone. I think everything's about money laundering. They're doing it to launder money. You don't launder. Why would you launder money online? Why wouldn't you just go to an auction room and buy a piece of art that you put up? Get someone to put a piece of art up, buy the piece of art yourself, and then just put it up somewhere else. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you do it like that? Much easier, You just reuse it and put it somewhere else and just keep putting it around, Especially if you live in a big country. If you live in a big country, no one's even going to notice, And the same works of art, the same antiques go up for sale many, many times. You get antique dealers buying the same stuff back, the same stock, because they'll buy it, sell it for a profit to somebody. They'll think, oh, Christ, I can't make a profit out of this. Sell it again. They'll buy it and sell it again and just keeps going round and round and round. So you get the same stuff for sale. So it's not that strange that they would do that. So why the hell would you want to set up an online company to do it? It makes no sense. People don't use things like that. They don't, why would they bother, It's just crazy. Well, yeah, but I don't really know about money laundering. All I know is that there basically is I know there's one way of doing it is that they simply buy pictures. They buy art. That's one way of doing it. You simply buy a work of art. Somebody puts it up for sale. Somebody buys it. It then goes back to that person and then they put it back up again, and then they buy it, and they put it back up again. They buy it because they're buying their own artwork back, and just keeps going round like that. But they give it to somebody else, and it just goes round and round and round, and they give it the money in cash, and it just goes like that, And they take a percentage, and it comes out, and it goes in like that. Or you run it through things like shops and stuff like that. Run it through shops. You buy a load of stock, buy your own stock back, dump it. People that used to use property, what they used to do in the UK is that they get mortgages on property. And when they could rent it out, they'd get the rent. And when they couldn't rent it out, they'd pay the rent themselves. And that would launder the money. So they were building up a property portfolio while simultaneously laundering money. You see? And that's what they just paid off their own mortgages. And that's all they did. They just did it like that, And just kept running the money through the property. And that's all it was. When it rented. When it didn't rent, they rented it themselves. That's what everything looked like. It was basically fully rented almost all the time, because can't do it all the time. And that's what they did. And that was supposed to be a big thing in the UK. Which is probably why a lot of the billionaires in the UK are in property. Because not all of them were honest. In the past, there were some big ones. or at least one big one, was cleaned out because of the Proceeds of Crime Act. They took all of his property off him, all his money off him, and put him in jail because it was all bent, basically. The whole of the property empire we built on was bent, was based on London money. So they took it all off him, and he lived in a multi-million-pound house and all this, and he was a very rich man. I mean, a very rich man. He owned vineyards and things like this, and he was hugely rich. He was on the rich list, and a big name on the rich list. Not like a Richard Branson level name, but a big, super rich name. And they took everything off him because he was using the dodgy money, the drug money, and the so I think it was drugs, and I think probably smuggling and things like this. He was using that money for his property empire. You know, that was his major mistake. He got on the rich list. If he just managed to stay off the rich list, he'd have probably been all right. But that's what happened, and he ran it through like that, and that's what he did. You know, and clearly it worked because he was on the rich list, so he was a big-time criminal. You know, probably still in jail. Not somebody you want to mess with either. You know, he was a very hard dude. This guy, very, very, very tough man, as you would expect. You know, but that'll be done all over the world. We'll do that. You know, but I don't really know. I don't need to do that. You know, what would I do that for? You know, but actually they think internet companies are wicked, suspicious, but they don't want to turn them into hard assets. You know, the only thing I've done when you look on the internet, the only thing I've done when I've read newspapers and things like this, is they seem to want to turn it into hard assets, not into internet companies. They turn them into hard assets. Because these people who are inherently dodgy know the dodginess of the world more than we do, because we're honest people. We don't know how dodgy the world is. They do, because that's their entire life. It's like policemen probably know how dodgy the world is. These guys do. So they're not going to think, oh, great, we'll have the internet company, and this company will do this, and they'll have a game, and it'll do so-and-so. That's not how they think, because the whole thing is dodgy to them. So they turn it into property, you know? Hard assets, traditional companies, that sort of thing is the things they seem to mention in the newspapers when they're talking about it. They don't seem to mention it. I mean, who the hell would do publishing, you know, for that? Or books or things. Why would you? You know? Really, that's what you want to do. You want to turn your assets into copyrights and into trademarks and stuff like that. Copyrights, you know, copyrighted material and stuff like that. That doesn't seem a very good idea. But I don't even know about Discord, to tell you the truth. I have no idea about Discord at all. I don't know anything about it. No, I'll have to look into Discord. And I'll see what it's about. I'm not promising I'm going to join, but I'll see what it is. Yeah. So I basically just use the social media. I use YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, which was Twitter, and also TikTok. I use TikTok as well. On TikTok, I'm actually an Instagram. I'm s.rob.magick Israel. That's magic with a CK. And I'm on there. Yeah. I haven't really heard about it, really. I haven't really. I think I was looking at it once. Thing is, I've always been so busy writing that I don't really notice things. You know, I miss stuff. You know, I'm writing less than I used to write. I'm to slow down as time's gone along. I've slowed down. At one time, I was writing books like every couple of days or something, and it's reducing, you know, because I don't want to duplicate myself too much. So yeah, I end up with the reducing amounts, you know, so I have more time to go on to Discord. Maybe I'll have a look on there, you know, yeah, which would be an interesting idea. But it's pretty strange when you miss stuff, because you know this whole non-binary thing. You won't realize this. I missed it completely. It just came out of nowhere for me, because it was like I was just writing. I was writing so much, writing. Then I had a gap, had me a bit of a pause. And there was all this non-binary stuff, but people were non-binary and this and that and all this. And I'm thinking, what the hell? I didn't have any idea about that, because when I started writing, it was just gay, bisexual, straight, transgender. That's all you had. You basically just, people only thought was just straight and gay. That's all it really was. You had the others, but that wasn't really something people thought about. Great to see you, Ambrosius Knowledge. And that's what it was. And then all of a sudden, there's all this non-binary stuff. Now, I'm not against it, don't get me wrong, but I didn't realize it was there because I was writing so much. I had no idea. It just came out of nowhere. And then suddenly there's all this stuff and all these people are non-binary. I'm thinking, what's non-binary? And all this they, them. And I'm thinking, okay, so I've got to remember to call the they, them, which I've got the hang of. I've got that. I'm not a fossil. I can do that. I've got the hang of the they, them stuff. You know, wasn't a concept I had a trouble with. It was like the names, you know, because there's like non-binary. There's like, what else is there? Okay, there's non-binary, genderqueer. I'm adding the new ones on. Non-binary, genderqueer. You've always had asexual and intersex, but that's about all I've got. But the main ones I'm talking about, non-binary, genderqueer, and some other ones as well. On that, all right, there's like one new name for bisexual, which is about like, which I can't remember the name, but people who are into who can have sex with anybody as long as there's love there. I don't know what that is, but it's different ones. What type of cultism? Okay, I'm your favourite cultist, right? That's great. What kind of magic does the Vatican use? Basically, they use prayer, but they also have other things as well. They've got an extensive occult collection. Okay. And about as certain as you can be, there's an occult society in the Vatican City that uses a demon that I personally believe to be a representation of Hell's Pope, Hell's Vatican. I don't mean like the Black Pope or a satanic Pope. I mean a demon that is their Vatican. See, everything in the earth is mirrored in hell, which means there is a Vatican in hell as it is one in heaven. Pardon me. And just as the one on earth is a man, not an angel, the one in hell is a demon, not a devil, as in not a fallen angel, but a devil, a very powerful devil. And in the Vatican City, they can communicate with this Hell's Vatican's Pope. And that's part of the thing that they do. And that's not just members of the clergy, that's also, I think, people linked with the mafia and things like this do it as well, who are there, which I'm not going to be very popular with now. Some of them members are doing it, although them people are very, very Christian. They don't believe in this stuff at all. So these people might not be too popular themselves for being there. They're probably not, but there is some members there. And what you've got there is this sort of thing going on where they're basically paying homage to and things like this. Because you've got to remember, within the Christianity, you've got to have bad in order to have freedom of choice to be good. So you've got to have the good and the bad. So from the perspective of the Vatican, evil has to exist. See, I came up with something years ago which made me very unpopular with the Vatican. You know, you're aware of this, Ambrosius, if you've read some of my books. The first time I just contacted the Vatican News with something. Not a good idea. It was not a good idea. Second time I went on better, I found an internal Vatican email. Again, this was even worse idea because I contacted them and I sent them a copy of a book called Satanic and Demonic Command Power. One of my old books. It's a humanic possession book. I've wrote a number of humanic possession books now. Humanic possession is where a person possesses a devil or demon, as opposed to the other way around. My idea was, if you get all your bishops together and you use the sigils and things from this, you can possess devils, the ones in charge, the ruling elite of it, the ruling devils and demons, the ruling elite, and you can pass yourself off as them, and you can control hell. And then we can control the earth and hell, and we can't not have freedom of choice because we control hell, we're controlling the game at that point. And we've won the unwinnable war. The unwinnable war nobody can win. We've won. Congratulations. I was expecting a healthy, but I was hoping for a healthy pat on the back. Congratulations. You're a great man. We're going to buy you a pint. There's some money. Vatican's rich. Let's throw you some money there because you've done such a good job. No, that is not what happened. There's a lot of things around that could be called, what could you call them? Some aliens and some angels, but some things look more like aliens than angels. 2 Men in Black, and I didn't get your normal Men in Black. I didn't get the classic ones. No, I sent them in the ebook. I just sent the ebook. But yeah, I sent them a book, yeah. And the ones, Men in Black were the classic ones. One looked human, one did not look human. So I didn't get the normal ones. I didn't get the regular normal ones. If I had a normal one with like funny eyes, something, what the hell? I don't care. It's fine. You know, no, this one was white, looked like the Scream with a big circular mouth with like teeth going like that, like you would get from some sort of insect, like a caterpillar or something like that, you know, around like that, like teeth like that, and white with white skin. Well, grey white skin with fake eyes, regular eyes like that. Who for some reason talked Irish. Yes, I know, I don't understand that either, but he talked Irish. I mean, Irish is a very religious country, so maybe he came over from Ireland. Maybe they've got these things in Ireland. I don't know. But he looked to me more like a genie, like a type of jinn, than an angel. This was not an angel, and it wasn't a demon. It was a genie, is what it was. Which means they're basically pissing all over their own religious system. They know the bugger's not complete, and they don't care because they've got genies there. And there was 2 genies. One looked like a man, one was maybe human, one looked like a genie. And they had sophisticated technology in the cars, and they had things that could walk through walls and all sorts of things. I believe they can change time. They can change small details, which they do that as a way of threatening you. But I believe it's a bluff. I don't think they can change large things because it's too big a deal. I don't think they can do that. They can edit small things that somehow reason they can do without making a big difference. I don't know how they do that. They change songs is what they do. If you listen to a song an awful lot, they'll threaten you by changing the song, and it'll be changed for all time. And I don't know how they do it. You know, I suspect they've got an astral projection room in the Vatican. I suspect, which is part technology and part not. Because that's not something they're supposed to do, astral projection. But there's a lot of things they're not supposed to do that they do, you know. And they've also got an institute in the Vatican, or just in the Vatican City itself, which is to do with astronomy and astrophysics, and God knows what that's about. That, I think, is probably partly to do with time travel, and I think they've got time travel things there and experiments in the Vatican. God knows what they're doing, I dread to think. And the last people in the world should have it. I'm not convinced they're responsible enough to have it. I don't think anyone should have it. God, the mystical system is all of the physically devoted to the cause. I think really to them, see, if you look at the high level, there's 2 books. There's sets of books. There's the Bible, and there's the books for the people who are in the church. See, they know the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is part of their teachings that they learn. The Pope has a rod like this, and it's got different things to represent the tree of life. So they know the Kabbalah, although it's Jewish mysticism. It's also in their teachings as priests. So they do have stuff like that. And I think if you go right the way back to the Middle Ages, they were doing things they weren't supposed to do. I think they probably still do. Dreams. I believe they can predict, but I think you're normally better being conservative with your predictions with dreams rather than being optimistic. Rather than go to the most extreme example, you're better off pulling back and trying to normalize it and do it like that. But they can be predictive. They can also tell you about yourself. Dreams are a very important thing. Good idea. Don't talk about dreams in public. Don't talk about your dreams to your friends. Because even if you think it's embarrassing or funny, it probably tells more about you than you want to see or can do to other people. You know? I don't believe in set interpretations of dreams. I believe it's an art. I don't believe in these like big list of things that means this. I think, to be honest, that's bollocks. To put it in an old way of saying it, I think it's crap. It's an art to interpret a dream. It's part psychology, part art, but I do believe that it has useful properties that people can learn from. I do like Griggs. Yes, that is right. How did you know? Exactly. Yeah, that's right. You're right. You don't chew them with anybody. Just keep them to yourself. With just anybody, got to keep them. Yeah. What makes you say, do I like Griggs Rat Attack? Do you want to say it? No, just because I do go to Greg's. Yes, that's true. Very true. Yeah, there's many a time that is my lunch is at Greg's. You know, it's just so convenient. Just go in and get a pasty. You just go and walk straight in and you get your pasty and you leave, and that's it. In a little bag, get a little bottle of cola, like a big bottle of cola, not really a huge one, but like a bottle of cola, you know. And that's it. Maybe a Belgian bun. You know, I should do adverts. You should pay me to do adverts for Greg's. I would do that. What is the most powerful magic work you'll be involved in? Oh, it's difficult to say. I've done that much stuff. It's very difficult. There's really that many things I've done and been involved in. I don't know. There's some interesting things I did. I mean, the Egyptian stuff's been powerful. When you've got stuff for animal heads appearing places, that tends to do with me. That's powerful. Those thing I did with Sol Ravencraft once, were on the World Magic Movement. That was on We Event Media, a culture on channel on YouTube. We Event Media Limited. We Event Media is called. WERAVAMP, Vamp, and then space media. And it was the World Magic with a CK. Again, Magic, CK, World Magic Movement. And we did something about dog-headed men. And we had a conversation, and we used this Egyptian deity that had a dog's head. And what we found was this: we had a conversation with each other, or we thought we were, and we both heard different things and gave different answers to different questions. So in reality, we were probably talking to the Egyptian deity, who was a dog-headed man, and not to each other. And we didn't realize this till we had a technical problem, because we used to record two separate tracks. You see, we'd record one track with him and then record two separate tracks each. And then what we do is we take the trappy track, which was the one on Skype, and we put these tracks and align them. I can't remember which one it was. I don't know. Probably Anubis, I think. Yeah. And we put them both together. Was it Anubis? No, I think another one. I can't remember. And we both put them together, and they didn't fit. They didn't work with each other. See, the deity thought we were just talking. We weren't talking. We were recording as well, recording a podcast. Now, how many wars have been started with conversations on the phone that weren't real, where the people are responding to different things, thinking that the person said something they didn't say? Imagine this. Imagine if America was on the phone to Russia. Imagine that. Both prime ministers talking to each other, both presidents talking to each other, and both hearing different things than each other. Now, technologically, it's all working. Technologically, it's fine, because we're talking magic. We're talking some Egyptian magic here. We're talking, but yet, they're hearing different things. America says, we think we would rather like to have peace. Russia says, we think peace is a good idea, but that isn't what they hear. They hear, America says, we like to bloody blast the hell out of you, and Russia, that's what they hear. And they're saying we would rather like peace, but what America hears back is, oh, we would like to blast the hell out of you, and then you go like this. And how many wars have started like that? Or kept going like that because they've heard the wrong things on the phone. And the only reason we knew it was because we had two separate tracks as well. We had two separate ones recorded, and then we'd send these tracks and put them together. And okay, sometimes you have a problem with one being longer than the other, but when we put them the same length and we had clicks and things like this, we were answering different bloody questions. We had to redo the whole thing because we didn't know what to do. Now, what we did was, that's right, we put it on and we told people how weird it was that we were getting wrong answers. We're answering different questions. And we put it on there and told people to listen to it. And it was proof of dog-headed men that we'd managed to summon dog-headed men, because dog-headed men were there, or a dog-headed man, and changed what we recorded. And that was quite powerful. It's subtle, there's nothing big to see. Then there was the other time, the World Magic Movement, where we transported rooms to hell. It was in a different house. I was in one room, we were transporting rooms to hell. And it was, yeah, I did about Halloween, or before Halloween. Still be Sam Angus, that's a period of time, but before Halloween. And what basically happened was I told people, do not open the door, do not look outside, just do it yourself, listen, and then go. And then to go back and play the last part of the program, transporting rooms to hell. And what happened was, I did the first part. I was just a test. I heard a very loud laugh outside of the room, in the other room, or what was the other room. A very, very loud laugh, very, very low. I was in, oh, like really low, lower than people can laugh, lower than I can laugh. And it thought that it was just hearing something. Whatever was in that other room thought it was just, or possibly hell. It thought it was just hearing some sort of weird show. How that works, whether you get shows in hell, you're supposed to get everything in hell you get here. It just thought it was hearing some weird show. It didn't realize I was in the room just beside where the hell it was. So what I did, I thought, I'm going to just do what I'm doing, and I played through the show in order, and I'll just run it. I'm not going to just run the end bit. I went through what I was doing, and I thought, I'll do it like this and see what happens. And there was basically, again, low noises, not much, just low noises. And I just went through a certain amount, and then I went and played the last part. I went back, and it was back to normal. I checked, and there was nothing there. And that was quite scary. And that's still available in the World Magic Movement, Transporting Rooms to Hell. If you go on the Way of Our Media YouTube channel, you can find the World Magic Movement. Once you find the Transporting Room to Hell is still there, and it worked well. It worked very well. But give a warning off to people to be careful. But it was real magic. What we were doing, that was what we were doing, and that was the main point of it. Yeah, a lot of them I wouldn't mention because they're still alive. And the reason I can't mention them is because they would then get the crap that I get. And they would probably get their crap and my crap, if you know what I mean. Because if I've had trouble with the Vatican, they could have trouble with the Vatican. So we can't really talk about each other, But there is people that are very influential to me. I wrote with some of them. Okay, one of them I wrote with Jose Roberto Mira Abaharo. Mad Abe, it's also called, when he works as in the stuff he's done in military circles. And you know about that because I've written with him. So I can write about him. But the others, I'm not sure that would be a good idea, because he's a military guy. He can look after himself. Not a good idea to have a go at Mad Abe. It would not be a good idea. But the other ones, I'm not sure whether people look after themselves as well, so I can't mention them. Because these are people who have, a lot of these people have normal lives. By that I mean they have lives apart. They're not into occultism. They're into occultism, but they have like regular jobs, some people and stuff like that, And I also inspired a lot of my people who aren't just occultists, that aren't occultists per se. I like to be around people who are like bizarrists. I've known quite a few bizarrists. And bizarrists are type of entertainer. But some of them really do know about occultism. Mostly spiritualism. They all know about spiritualism quite a lot because it's part of what they do. But basically what they do is they dress up in Victorian costume a lot of the time, like a sort of steampunk type thing, but not steampunk. And inspired by the old horror films. And they do things like cabinets of curiosities where they'll talk about these strange tales and things to do with different things and different items and things like this, and things from like carnivals like Fiji mermaids I'll have and stuff like this. And I'm inspired by these people a lot. Not directly, I don't really do anything they do, but being around for these people is a very interesting thing, you know. I did go to one of the conventions once, one of their conventions, and they were quite open to me going because I knew them and because my stuff is bizarre and strange in its own way, not in the way theirs is. It's not the same subject, but that sort of inspired them a bit. And I had used, if you look on some of the things, you'll find I have used at times magic props within rituals. The difference is I don't make it, I make it look like a magic prop. I don't pass anything off as a cult. It's not. I'll use something that looks like a magic prop, looks magic-y, it looks tricky. And you'll say, oh, that's a trick because it's a special effect. You need to be able to spot that it's a special effect so that you know where the magic is. Otherwise, it's all fake. So I'll just use that like that, something, and then it'll work, and then the effect will be on you. So you would see the magic in your life. That's how I used to do it. And they're still there. Some of them are still online, you know, spellcasting ones and stuff like this, like golden egg magic and stuff like this for different things and stuff like that, you know. Some of those are on the Wavamp Media YouTube channel as well, which is well worthwhile looking at. And that's a good thing as well, you know. It's a good place to go to and have a look at that. So those people as well, they're really good people to be around as well. A lot of them don't class themselves as occultists anymore, as bizarrists anymore. They've all become different things, you know. But it's a really interesting phenomenon performance-wise. It's not mainstream. I've got to be honest. This stuff is not mainstream for people. It's interesting, but it's not mainstream. It's really, really good to watch. But you're probably not going to see it, at least in the UK, on the TV. You have to go to see these guys live. And they tend to perform, a lot of them perform in intimate gatherings. They don't do huge stages. You've got to go and see them, you know. Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Ambrosius Knowledge, yeah. Yeah, well, that was the effect. I was hoping that they would work, those ones. Also did some ones, you know, some silent ones that people aren't aware of, because those are on the Wavamp Media occult channel. Wavamp Media YouTube channel are on. Wavamp Media YouTube, on YouTube, on here. And they're on there as well, and these ones are silent movie ones. I want to try and do a silent movie version of spellcastings. The idea was if they were silent, everybody could get them. They wouldn't need to speak English to understand them. What I didn't understand at the time is the stuff you write underneath them is in English, as in the description, and that limits how well they spread. And although the Wavamp Media YouTube channel is the same as this channel, it's set for download, as in we don't mind if we download things from there and post it places. The bottom line is, as long as we credit it, the people involved, you know, like the people who appear, the bottom line is it never happens that much from that channel because it's not an individual channel. People like channels of people rather than channels of companies. So although that channel is a good channel, it never gets the downloads. It doesn't appear other places the same as other things do, which was a pity, because if anyone wants to post any of these silent film magic ones, they can post them anywhere they want. They can download them, post them anywhere they want, as long as I'm on it, because it's me. As long as S Rob is mentioned, that's fine. I don't mind. You know, and they are silent movie ones. And me trying to do a silent film version of a spell casting. As in, I've got a stick, the Titfield Thunderbolt, and that's mentioned on the Wavamp, on the World Magic Movement podcast as well, the Wave video series. It's like talking, but there is video segments. A lot of the time there's animation things on it, but it is basically a podcast. And it was, you've got like a stick with a big knob on, which is and I do different things with it and all that to open gates and stuff like this. And it's completely silent. There's no music. There is no words. Use the sigils that appear on the screen, things like this, to make it work. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It really is. And, you know, but you can use that if you want to put that somewhere. You can put it. If you've got a website and you want to put that on it, long as I'm mentioned, I don't mind. As long as I'm mentioned, I do not mind. You can put it on. Anybody can. It's perfectly okay. Because I was doing that to spread. That was what it was about. I wanted to spread it outside of the English language. So if anyone's not English speaking or they've got a foreign website, you can put that on because there's no language on it. Perfectly okay. You know, you can put in your own language what it's for, and it's fine. You know, I was just trying to bring Magick forward, bit of self promotion, but mainly to bring Magick forward and to try and bring it outside of the English language. Because you see, I get translated, and people who read my stuff sometimes are multilingual. We all get that. We get people who are multilingual that want to do, but I wanted to try and get outside of the English language. The trouble is, the videos aren't the same as they used to be. They don't really do videos now. One time DVDs were a thing. They're not really a thing anymore, DVDs. I mean, I just bought a DVD on the Young 40 form, which I'm learning. But basically, DVDs aren't a thing for most people. You know, I mean, this computer doesn't take DVDs. Can't play DVD. I only got one DVD player. The TV has DVD on it, which is why I bought a DVD. But there's nothing like that really at all. So it was a problem because you can get places that burn things onto DVDs, but the trouble is you've got to sell them individually and post them out, and it just wouldn't work that way. It wouldn't make the sales, wouldn't get the numbers to get it going. So they just end up online because what it was going to do was do something elaborate, do these longer, elaborate, possibly quiet things and put them on CD, on video, and people will use them and download them and things like this, and maybe make them more elaborate, like silent films and stuff like this. But the trouble is, you see, is that Amazon makes their download of videos from Amazon Prime and the video things so elaborate to keep people out that it keeps small operations out unless you you've actually got to have in your budget to convert it over and to make it for Amazon Prime. It's got to be part of your budget or it doesn't work. People actually have to budget that in. So people are making films that aren't as good as they used to be because good as they would be because they don't have the budget. Because a large slice of it has to go on converting it over for Amazon. And some people make films and don't budget for it and can't get it on Amazon. They can't get it on anywhere. So you get these independent film companies that are set up that are making great films that can't get on Amazon. I don't think it's a good idea, the way they've set it up. You know? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the UFO in York. I think I remember that. I've seen quite a few of them, yeah, over the years. Yeah, that's right. I'm the one in York. It was a big one. Was it a triangle? Yeah, triangle UFO. Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. It's weird when you see them. It is, isn't it? It is with me. I mean, there was a lot of low-flying aircrafts lately where I was. One of them looked like a UFO. I couldn't identify what it was. And I did a video about it on here. And I got blue dots moving on my phone. And I thought, wait a minute, blue dots moving. If it's coming from the phone, I can see, okay, maybe that's the case. But it's got to hit something to make a dot. So what did it hit? Because some of them are in the sky, and I'm moving them down. I'm thinking, you know what? This is hitting something. Things moving around. Yeah, I know what you mean. You just don't, sometimes you don't, there's no fee, you just see them, you know? I mean, I never used to have any fear at all of anything for a lot of years. I do sometimes now, a little bit, if it's but it's got to be really bad. It doesn't work otherwise. You know, I've got to be pretty much surrounded by massive amounts of anything to get scared because I've pretty much burnt it out. Like occultists do, you do this much of this stuff, you just don't get scared anymore, it just disappears. Do military technology or what? Wouldn't be surprised if it was military. I wouldn't be surprised if it was alien as well, to be honest. The thing is, if it was military, it would be high technology. There wouldn't be that wouldn't be that anyway. But why would you put it over York? It's a tourist spot. It's one place you'd avoid if you're a military. You wouldn't fly over the top of anywhere that can be seen in York. You know, why wouldn't you fly over anywhere else? Anywhere else is a better place than a tourist location, which makes me think it could be a UFO, as in alien. Because why would you fly your expensive classified military aircraft over the top of a tourist city where it can get photographed? Because you have people photographing that from all over the world. Everywhere's got it now. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you mean, too smooth and metal. Well, but why would you do it, though, even if you could do that? And the technology is probably way ahead of what we can imagine. You wouldn't fly it there because that aircraft or that picture is now all over the world. Every company in the world will have that because it has everybody was there. Everybody you can imagine was in York because you get Americans and Canadians and Chinese and Japanese and this, that, and everybody. Yeah, everybody goes to York from all the world because Harry Potter was, the Diagon Alley was there, was filmed there, although it's supposed to be based on a place in Edinburgh. It actually was filmed in the film in York. And you've got a cathedral there, and it's a great place. So people go to York. And it is a great place. But the thing is with that is, it's the one bloody place you don't want to fly your military aircraft. You know? You don't want to fly your classified aircraft over the top of there. It's like flying over London. It's like, no. That's a bad idea as well, you know? Yeah, Vikings, Jorvik, exactly. It's got that in as well. It's great. It's a great place. I went around the Jorvik Viking Centre, the Jorvik Centre, with the Vikings and all that, and the smelly, because they make it so it smells. They've actually got, not just that you're going around, it's like as it was at the time, it actually smells right. Maybe not completely right, but it smells right. They couldn't probably make it completely right, to be honest, but they make it smell. So you go around, you get the smells of the places you go around. It's great. It's a great day out. Great. Couldn't have a better day. But yeah, it's like London, you know, there's that many different people from different places. Last place you want to fly it. You know, you want to miss your cities, wouldn't you, really? You're going to fly your classified aircraft somewhere, fly it over your small towns where there's less people, where it's not going to end up everywhere, you know? Probably not. Probably not allowed to know the situation of the way things are. I mean, America's already admitted that there was aliens. They've already admitted it. So in my mind now, it's all it's all a waste of time. Any cover up that Britain has is a waste of time because Americans have already admitted it. You know, and we speak the same language. So, you know, I know they'll do the game. They'll say after admitting it and they exist, but several thousand years ago, these dog-headed men were just people with masks on. They weren't dog-headed men. Think, well, wait a minute. How do you know there isn't aliens with dog-headed men? And the whole thing is about them coming from the sky and all this. Wait a minute. Ooh, does that not seem more likely that there were actually aliens under the sea? Well, yeah. I mean, there's been sightings of UFOs coming out of the sea. You know, and we all know that, don't we? I think we all have heard of that before. I mean, my feeling is, to be honest, is that a lot of deities and things like this are produced from our thought, that our thought creates them. But that doesn't mean there wasn't something there to begin with that was probably alien. Doesn't mean that's not the case. Not something I tend to write on, but it doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't the case. They weren't alien to start off with. They weren't coming from somewhere and all that, you know. But aliens as well. Aliens could be created by thought too, as could us. We could have created aliens, but aliens could have created us. They could have created thought of human race, and they come down to see us because we end up being created by them through thought. So you don't know who's creating who. We could all be creating each other, and they all all interrelated, all relying on each other, rather than one central figure, one magic man doing everything, you know? Yeah, Poseidon, oh, lots of sea gods. Loads of sea gods out there, you know? Yeah, but I don't know, it's just... There's a lot of things in the sea that we don't know about. We know more about the surface of the moon than we know about the deep depth of the oceans. That's what they say. You know, so there's so much there, isn't it, to see and understand and discover. Well, I'm going to sign off now. Glad to see you all. Hopefully this should come out, and it should come out and it should be there for people to see after it's been recorded, which should be. Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.